Hi, this is Don Varney with Health Talks with Don and Tracy, and we're here today and we're going to be talking about protein information for you. So a lot of us can learn more about that, and I think there'll be some surprises that you didn't know. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You know, we get so much information about proteins, and there's so little that people really know. And I'll just kick it off by saying most people, you say we need protein, they go beef and chicken.
Right.
I know there's a lot more to that. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what protein is and what's importance and what its need?
Okay. Protein is basically building blocks of everything in our body, from muscles to tendons to organs to skin. Proteins even make up enzymes and hormones. So protein is critical to everything that we are. And they're made up of amino acids. People hear that all the time, non-essential and essential. Our body makes a good portion of them, but there are 9 that our body does not make, so we need to get them from food, and those are the essential ones. And what people don't realize is that you made the chicken and beef, that people automatically think that's the only place to get protein.
Right.
Well, there's protein in all foods.
Okay. When you talk about that, is there a quick formula that we can use to know how much we should have on a day-to-day basis?
There's the FDA guideline, about 55 grams per day for men, 45 for women.
Okay.
That's if you're sedentary.
Okay.
And of course, if you're active, you need a little bit more.
To kind of feed the muscle, etc., that you're burning out.
Exactly.
So you're looking at, let me see if I got that right. 55 for a man, 45 grams for a woman. And when you look at that, that's going to make up, what do you figure, about 25 to 30% of our daily intake of all foods?
Yes, but given that we live in a very overfed, undernourished society with the standard American diet, protein is the one thing that nobody is deficient in. Yeah. We get way more than enough protein.
I think too, when we start finding out, I know we're going to be talking about this in just a few seconds really, all the different places you can get protein in natural foods. I mean, there's a bunch, and you know, I know there's some controversy going on now in 2 camps. One says yes, one says no. You know, talk a little bit about that.
The old camp kind of says we need a ton of protein. We're hunters, gatherers by nature. These are people who believe strongly in the paleo diet. I wouldn't survive one day on that diet. I know that. We're all individual. We have different dietary needs. So that's one camp that says you need a ton of protein. You really can't get too much. They use protein for weight loss, building muscle, and it's just protein, protein, protein. The other camp, which is really where a lot of the research is right now and is emerging, that's saying that too much protein will spike your blood sugar. You'll store it as fat, and it's also pretty stressful on your kidneys.
And well, it's difficult to digest. You know, one of the things in my enzyme world that we know is if you eat an apple, this is fairly easily to digest. It's heavy water soluble. It's got fibers in it. It's got different things. You give enzymes that your body has, maybe add a supplemental enzyme or so. This will break down pretty easily in your body. You take a piece of meat, and you have to just visualize it's meat. And that gets into your stomach. There's a lot of digestion that has to go on to break that meat down. And most of us are deficient in an enzyme. In fact, one of the things that people who love protein, it's so funny, the ones that actually love protein are the ones that need to have protease, which is the enzyme that breaks down protein. Why? Because most of them are deficient in protease in their body. But they're trying to eat protein all the time, they crave it, and it's because the body's not getting any value out of it, or very little. So they're constantly craving. It's a cruel trick that's been played on us. So you're right in that we eat way too much protein in our diet, thinking we're doing good when we're not.
It is, and that's really the reason that about 20 years ago I stopped eating meat.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember every once in a while I would crave a cheeseburger. I would eat it, and then for like 3 days I would be miserable. It would just be sitting there. My body couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I felt horrible. It wasn't worth it.
Well, if you're not going to eat meat and chicken, what other things are out there that you can get protein from?
There is protein in all foods. That doesn't mean it's complete protein. We talked about the amino acids. So there's amino acids in all foods, which are the building blocks of the protein. So in the plant world, there are complete proteins. Quinoa, which is not a grain, it's a seed. Quinoa is a complete protein in the plant world. Avocados are complete proteins. When you're eating a diet that is, you're eating a variety of vegetables and fruits and things like that, you're getting complete proteins.
And that goes back to the statement we made earlier in that protein is in all foods.
It absolutely is.
So it's just, again, it's educating yourself, understanding that there's protein in this apple. So you don't have to just have the big two in order to do it and get the proteins that you need for your body to be healthy. I know that as you say you don't eat meat, there's a balance there that you have to have when you give up the easy ways to get it of meat and chicken and things like that. There's a balance that you have to make sure you're getting enough protein in the foods that you are eating. Otherwise, you're now on the low end, which isn't good either. So that's really been quite interesting. I'm pretty excited about this. I know that we're going to be doing a part 2 where we'll talk a little bit more about for the people that aren't sedentary. So we'll be talking about protein for the active person in the next segment. And we'll just kind of go from there. Well, this is Don Varney with Health Talks with Don and Tracy. And if you want to get a hold of me, my number is 210-241-3282 or enzymesorders@gmail.com. Also on Facebook, you can go to my page, which is Z Nutrition Digestive Enzymes. And this program, as well as the others, are going to be posted on my website on Saturdays at about 10 o'clock in the morning. Tracy, how can they get a hold of you?
I can be reached at 210-818-3278 or alivehealthtx@gmail.com. And please keep your feedback and your comments coming. We appreciate them.
We absolutely do. And remember, if you'd like to have us come out and speak to your group, association, or even in your workplace, that is part of our business model, and we'd be glad to sit down and talk to you about us doing that. So again, this has been Health Talks with Don and Tracy. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.